city sewer system. Any questions or comments from colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 2111-2023 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to enter a contract modification with DLSD Ohio for the Construction Administration Construction Inspection Services 2023-2025 contract to authorize amendment to the 2023 capital improvement budget to expend up to $1,191,867.05 from the sanitary bond fund for the modification of declared emergency. Emergency designation is requested for this ordinance as the project will construct 50 rain gardens and sewers in the 5th by Northwest planning area, thus eliminating flooding within the right-of-way that is currently causing motorist and pedestrian safety hazards along with property damage. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Council President, with your permission, I'd like to move on to building and zoning policy.
Please.
Thank you. We have ordinance 2127-2023 to authorize the Director of Department of Development to enter a professional services contract with Fortuity LLC in the amount of up to $100,000 for web application development, digital marketing, campaign management, analysis, and reporting, to authorize the expenditure of up to $100,000 from the 2023 General Fund operating budget, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the Columbus City Codes, Chapter 329, to allow for expenditure prior to the execution of the purchase order and declared emergency. As I think we all know, in 2021, an independent assessment found that Columbus' zoning code was inhibiting creation of additional housing units and transit-supported development in our city. Mayor Ginther and this council have prioritized revising our zoning code, which has not been comprehensively been updated in 70 years, in order to provide a better guide for equitable growth in our city. The initiative called Zone In Columbus is being led collaboratively by the Department of Building and Zoning Services and the Department of Development. While modernizing zoning is needed throughout Columbus, the zoning team has overlaid multiple criteria, including current and future bus routes, land use recommendations, current zoning to identify 62 corridors and commercial nodes that are best suited to be rezoned first. The zoning team needs input from people who live, work, shop, and enjoy these corridors to determine how they think they should feel and look and how that additional development will affect those areas. We especially need to hear from individuals in our community whose voices have not been previously heard in these types of conversations before, and this contract will help to do that. Emergency designation is requested to maintain the project zoning initiative timelines. Community feedback must be captured and analyzed by September 30th in order to maintain the project schedule to adopt our new zoning code by next year. Any questions or comments from colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
And with that, that's all I have my committees tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next committee to come before council is the Public Safety Committee.
Thank you very much, Council President Harden. Tonight in Public Safety, we will start with 4 liquor objection withdrawals. At the end of every year, Columbus City Council reviews requested liquor license objections from the City Attorney's Office. These establishments typically have numerous calls for service, drug activities, and crime. In other words, they do not live up to the expectations we have for them to operate in the City of Columbus. A liquor license objection is not the end, and there are instances where establishments work with the City Attorney's Office to create safety plans and change the way they do business. Tonight, these 4 liquor objection withdrawals exemplify the fact that months of work has been done, and these establishments have committed to employ best practices in order for the right to continue to operate in the City of Columbus with a liquor license. Before we dive into these withdrawals, I'd like to invite Assistant City Attorney Sarah Pomeroy to give a short preview over the resolutions on the agenda tonight for liquor objection withdrawals. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Remy, Council President Harden. Appreciate having me here tonight. As the council member mentioned, we lodged over a dozen objections last December. We withdrew a handful in January, and we're here tonight to withdraw a few more. All 4 of these are now under agreed nuisance abatement orders that are public record with the environmental court, all of which include multiple improvements on security, operating procedures, cameras, lighting, some of which include added actual security. I'll briefly just touch on a couple points for each of the 4 and then turn it back over. The first up is Speedway, which is at Broad and James. Basically, this is a management group of that location that we actually resolved a prior objection from a year ago. On East Livingston, things have been going well there. We certainly have the same expectation for this location. For Spotlight, which is on West Mound, that is a nuisance suit we filed back in August. It had not been resolved, so we objected in December. They underwent a short period of closure, a security assessment, and things have been going well since their reopening. For Mobile Mart, which is on West Broad and Hilltop, they applied actually to transfer that liquor permit as well. So we have a new owner that has actually taken over operations there. They are part of this agreement moving forward. We met with them, feel confident about the implementation of their various procedures. And then finally, the last one on the agenda tonight is the Dollhouse, which is up in the Northland area. They had multiple shooting incidents both last year and early this year. They have been shut down since that date and will remain shut down until a final walkthrough both by CFD, CPD, and our building department because they had a fire there as well. So there's been a lot of renovations happening. And certainly with all four of these, as with any of our locations that enter into these agreements, they are subject to compliance inspections, potential reopening of their cases in front of the environmental court, and again, we reserve the right to come before you all to object again if needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant City Attorney Pomeroy. Do any of my colleagues have any questions about these specifically? You can ask during the legislative process, but certainly wanted to give you the opportunity now. All right, then I'll go ahead and go through this. Resolution 139X, 2023, to withdraw the objection to the renewal of liquor permit number 841899424.
Sorry.
450, held by Speedway LLC, doing business as Speedway 9706, located at 3304 East Broad Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43213, and to declare an emergency. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Pass.
Next, I have ordinance 140X, 2023, to withdraw the objection to the renewal of liquor permit number 808-468-00005, held by Cheyenne LLC, doing business as Spotlight Lounge, located at 1662 West Mound Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43223, and to declare an emergency. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues this evening? Seeing none, I move for adoption.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Pass.
Next, I have Resolution 141X, 2023, to withdraw the objection to the renewal of liquor permit number 9078365, held by 2635 Broad LLC, doing business as Mobile Mart, located at 2635 West Broad Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43204, and to declare an emergency. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for adoption.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Pass.
Finally, I have Resolution 142X, 2023, to withdraw the objection to the renewal of liquor permit number 9294865, held by VM 3015, Inc., doing business as Dollhouse and Patio, located at 1680 Carl Court, Columbus, Ohio, 43229, and to declare an emergency. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for adoption.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Pass.
Again, I'd like to thank Assistant City Attorney Pomeroy for her work in this and the collaboration that we have within our two offices. Thank you. We'll move now on to the rest of the ordinances in public safety. I have Ordinance 2005 to authorize the Director of Public Safety to enter into a contract for maintenance and repair services for Crime Lab instruments with Specialty Underwriters LLC, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the Columbus City Code, to authorize the expenditure of $97,410 from the general fund, and to declare an emergency. Specialty Underwriters was utilized in 2018 as a pilot project to see what the potential cost savings would be, as well as determining if the city would be obtaining the same maintenance or repair services as if it contracted directly with the individual manufacturers. The pilot program did not include all instruments, rather only a few from Agilent and PerkinElmer were utilized for the program. It was discovered that Specialty Underwriters contracts with each of the individual manufacturers on the city's behalf, reducing the yearly cost per instrument while maintaining the same level of service and repairs, thus making it manifestly impractical to bid. If we were to contract with each manufacturer in 21, the overall estimated cost would be $129,800. Utilizing Specialty Underwriters services, the cost is $97,410, resulting in a savings of $32,390. Therefore, the Division of Police is requesting a bid waiver on this contract so that they may continue the maintenance and service contracts at a reduced cost to the city. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
And that is all I have in public service. With your permission, I move on to environment.
Please.
In Environment tonight, I have ordinance 2023 to authorize the Director of Finance and Management to associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance with the appropriate universal term contract purchase agreement for automated side-loading CNG trucks for the Division of Refuse Collection with Truck Country of Indiana, doing business as Stoops Freightliner Quality Trailer to authorize the expenditure of up to $3,534,309 from the Refuse Bond Fund for these trucks and to declare an emergency. The Department of Public Service Division of Refuse Collection uses ASL trucks in citywide residential trash pickup. The Department of Public Service and Fleet Management recognize the need to replace older trucks in its fleet beyond the useful service life of the vehicle. This purchase will replace 8 refuse trucks that have reached the end of their useful service life. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Pass.
My final piece of legislation and environment this evening is ordinance 2024-2023 to authorize the Director of Finance and Management to associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance with the appropriate universal term contract purchase agreement for automated side-loading CNG trucks for the Division of Refuse Collection with Columbus Truck and Equipment Center, LLC, doing business as McMahon Truck Center of Columbus, to authorize the expenditure of $2,426,775 from the Refuse Bond Fund for these trucks and to declare an emergency. The Department of Public Service Division of Refuse Collection uses ASL trucks in citywide residential trash pickup. The Department of Public Service and Fleet Management recognize the need to replace older trucks in its fleet beyond the useful service life of the vehicle. This purchase will replace 5 refuse trucks and that have reached the end of their useful service life. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Pass.
With your permission, can I move on to administration?
Please.
In administration this evening, I have ordinance 2107-2023 to approve the memorandum of understanding for 2023-08 executed between representatives of the City of Columbus and American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Ohio Council 8, Local 1632, which creates a 2023 precinct election official leave program for city employees in Local 1632 to work the 2023 special election and the 2023 general election as a poll worker for the Franklin County Board of Elections and to declare an emergency. Exciting legislation before us this evening. This memorandum of understanding, we need poll workers at all of our polling locations, especially when the state created a special election on August 8th coming up that's costing over $1 million for this city, and we need as many people that come out and do their part as possible. So we're excited to have the opportunity for our employees to get paid while they're doing so, and just remember to vote August 8th and November 7th. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues this evening? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Thank you very much. That is all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the Finance Committee, we have 2 pieces of legislation. The first is ordinance 1926-2023. It's to authorize the Director of Finance and Management to enter into contract with Workspace Ohio LLC, DBA Dubler Office, for the purchase of office furniture to appropriate and expend a total of $155,297.43 and to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the Columbus City Codes, to amend the 2023 capital improvement budget, and to declare an emergency. Simply, this ordinance permits the purchase of office furniture for us here in the city. Are there any additional questions? Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston,
I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Pass. The next and final piece of legislation tonight is ordinance 2154-2023. Is to authorize a third amendment of the North Market lease agreement between the city and North Market Development Authority, Inc. The execution of a quiet claim deed for a transfer of 1.420 acres, more or less, of real property to NM Developer LLC, and to grant and execute or accept all easements, agreements, and other real estate documents necessary to complete the redevelopment of the North Market project site. This ordinance officially amends the North Market lease agreement to account for the aforementioned changes in the North Market project. It conveys the former North Market surface parking lot parcel, which is the project site, to the developer, authorizes easements and other agreements, and extends the lease. Are there any other questions or comments from my colleagues? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve by voice? So moved. Clerk, please call the roll by voice.
Mr. Bangston, Ms. Barosa de Padilla? Mr. Brown? Mr. Dorans?
No.
Ms. Faber?
No.
Mr. Remy? President Harden.
Yes, ordinance is passed. Hearing no further business to come before council, is there a motion to adjourn? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Brown, Dorans, Faber, Remy, President Harden.
Meeting is adjourned. We have two non-agenda speakers.